టోరీలో జై హింద్ ప్రత్యక్ష కార్యక్రమం ద్వారా మనం కొంతమంది వీర జవాన్లతో మాట్లాడటం జరిగింది. ఈ గణతంత్ర దినోత్సవం నాడు జై హింద్ లో ఇండో-పాక్ యుద్ధంలో పోరాడుతూ పొరపాటున ల్యాండ్ మైన్ మీద అడుగు వేయడంతో పెద్ద పేలుళ్లో ఇయాన్ కార్డోజో కాలు ఛిద్రమైంది. నొప్పిని పంటి బిగువన బిగబెట్టి ఆయన యుద్ధం చేశారు. తెగి వేలాడుతున్న తన కాలిని వైద్యులు శస్త్రచికిత్స చేయలేకపోయినా తన కత్తి ఖుక్రీతో నరికి తోటి జవాన్లకిచ్చి దానిని పూడ్చిపెట్టమని ఆదేశించి పోరాటం కొనసాగించిన సాహసుడు. అంగవైకల్యం ఆయన కెరియర్ కి ఏమాత్రం ఆటంకం కాలేదు. కృత్రిమ కాలుతో జీవితాన్ని కొనసాగించిన ఇయాన్ కార్డోజో భారత సైన్యంలో అంగవైకల్యం ఉన్నప్పటికీ విధులు నిర్వర్తించిన మొదటి అధికారిగా రికార్డులకెక్కారు. ఆ తర్వాత ఇన్ఫెంట్రీ బెటాలియన్ కి బ్రిగేడియర్ జనరల్ గా తమ సేవలను అందించారు. ఇటువంటి సాహసవంతుడు, పట్టుదల, నిబద్ధత, లక్ష్య సాధన కలిగిన మన సైనికుడిని అభినందించవలసిన కనీస కర్తవ్యం భారత పౌరుడి బాధ్యత. గణతంత్ర దినోత్సవం 26 జనవరి ఆదివారం నాడు భారత కాలమానం సాయంత్రం 4:30 గంటలకి టోరీ లైవ్ లో జై హింద్ ప్రత్యక్ష ప్రసారంలో కార్తూస్ సాహెబ్ మేజర్ జనరల్ ఇయాన్ కార్డోజో గారితో ప్రత్యక్షంగా మాట్లాడే సదవకాశం మీదే. మరి తప్పక వినండి. జై హింద్. మీరందరికీ మీ ఆర్జే నమస్కారం. జై హింద్ కార్యక్రమానికి స్వాగతం, సుస్వాగతం. A very warm welcome to Jai Hind, and today the time now at Hong Kong is evening 7 p.m. and the weather here is 15.5 degrees Celsius and humidity is 78%. ఈ రోజు మన జై హింద్ కార్యక్రమంలో మనతో పాటు ముఖ్య అతిథి ఉన్నారు మేజర్ జనరల్ ఇయాన్ కార్డోజో గారు. అంచేత ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఆంగ్లంలోనే నిర్వహించడం జరుగుతుంది. అందుకు మీరు మన్నించాలి, సహకరించాలి. మరి వారు ఆంగ్లంలో మాట్లాడతారు. మీరు కూడా కాల్ చేసి వారితో ఆంగ్లంలో మాట్లాడచ్చు. అయితే ఒక 15 నిమిషాల తర్వాత మీరు కాల్ చేసి వారితో మాట్లాడచ్చు. ముందుగా అయితే మన జాతీయ గీతంతో కార్యక్రమాన్ని ప్రారంభిద్దాం. For today we shall start our Jai Hind program with our national song. But before that, let me introduce to you our guest, Major General Ian Cardozo, sir. A very warm welcome to you, sir, on Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you to Jaya and all your listeners.
A very happy Republic Day to you, sir.
Same to you, Jaya, and to all our listeners. A very happy Republic Day.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's begin our Jai Hind with our national song, sir. So, Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam Malayaj Sheetalam Shasya Shamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Shubhra Pulakitayamini Pulla Kusumita Drumadala Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
So every week on Jai Hind, we have a ritual that we would like to do. We wish our brothers and sisters in armed forces
a very happy birthday as they dedicate their life serving our nation and serving our people, and hardly take time to celebrate their birthdays while on duty. Hence, we take this opportunity to wish them a very happy birthday, and may Lord protect them. And similarly, their families also celebrate their birthdays, or during the birthday of their loved one, they miss him as he is serving on the borders. And so we take this opportunity to wish them a very happy birthday, and request you, sir, to kindly bless them too.
तो जिसका जन्मदिन आज है, very happy birthday to you. God bless you and keep you safe always.
Thank you, sir. And for them, on behalf of you, there's a small song in Sanskrit, a happy birthday song for our soldiers.
Oh, that's great.
जन्मदिनमिदम् ऐ प्रिय सखे जन्मदिनमिदम् ऐ प्रिय सखे शन्तनोतु ते सर्वदा मुदम् शन्तनोतु ते सर्वदा मुदम् प्रार्थयामहे भवशतायुषी प्रार्थयामहे भवशतायुषी ईश्वर सदा त्वां च रक्षतु ईश्वर सदा त्वां च रक्षतु पुण्यकर्मणा कीर्तिमर्जय पुण्यकर्मणा कीर्तिमर्जय जीवनं तव भवतु सार्थकम् जीवनं तव भवतु सार्थकम् जन्मदिनमिदम् ऐ प्रिय सखे जन्मदिनमिदम् ऐ प्रिय सखे शन्तनोतु ते सर्वदा मुदम् शन्तनोतु ते सर्वदा मुदम् सर्वदा मुदम्.
So the meaning of this song is, oh dear friend, may this birthday bring auspiciousness and joy to you forever. Indeed, we all pray for your long life. May the Lord always protect you. By noble deeds, may you attain fame, and may your life be fulfilled.
That's very nice. That's very nice and very thoughtful. I'm sure everybody would love what you're saying.
Thank you, sir. So how was your day, sir, today?
My day was good. I did some writing because I was telling you I'm writing short stories about the armed forces, and I hope when it gets published the people will like them.
Well, that's interesting to know that a brave soldier now has time to write stories for us, and we are very much looking forward to it. How about the parade, sir? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched the parade. The parade was magnificent. The weather was lovely. The soldiers were great. They marched in perfect formation. The crowds were so cheerful. Everybody was happy. The bands were great. And the good part about it was that many of the frontline leaders of the marching contingents were women. And they marched very smartly.
Yes. That was really very exciting for us to see that the women soldiers were on the motorbikes too, standing and showing off their skills of riding a bike and holding a gun too.
Yes.
Yes, and here too in Hong Kong, we had planned for our flag hoisting at our consulate. But at Hong Kong, as the world knows, due to the Wuhan coronavirus emergency was declared, and the flag hoisting event at consulate was cancelled. On that note, our Consul General, Mrs. Priyanka Chauhan, said that it was a difficult decision as the safety of the children and fellow men was the foremost concern for her. So many thanks to Mrs. Priyanka Chauhan and her excellent team for all their good support to our Indian diaspora here. And Yes, otherwise we would have had a lovely time doing the flag hoisting and singing our national anthem together. And our children do participate and look forward to our national events here in Hong Kong. That's the opportunity for them to know the country.
That's good, Jaya, to know that we have a diaspora in Hong Kong and that they still have roots in our country and they keep in touch with us. That's great because that's what India is all about.
Geez, and about yourself, when we get to hear about you, read about you, it really tells us that how could somebody do this to himself? I'm sure you must have been asked this question n number of times, thousands and thousands of times, but still cannot imagine one doing that to himself, and that too at an age, a very young age of 30 years. Well, can you please tell our listeners about your thoughts that went into that decision? It wasn't an easy one, I'm sure.
See, Jaya, what people need to understand is that when we go into war, we do not think about ourselves, we don't think about our families, we just think about the task in hand.
True.
And we had a very difficult task because we were fighting a force which was 16 times our strength. The ratio was 1:16. So my only consideration was that, well, we need to win this battle, we need to win this war. And when people ask me as to why, how I managed to cut off my own leg, I just say I think I'm being given too much credit for this act because I think anybody in my position would have had to do the same thing. What had happened was that the enemy artillery had destroyed all our medical facilities. The artillery shells landed bang on the bunker, which 4 of our casualties were there. And all the medicines, all the cutting instruments, everything was destroyed. So when I was faced with this issue, I had no option but to, I told the doctor, do something, give me some morphia. So he said, I don't have any morphia. I said, give me some pethidine. He said, I don't have any pethidine. And I said, will you please cut this off? So he said, I don't have anything to cut it off. I said, go and find something then, quickly. So he went, and it took a long time to come. So I told my batman, we are Gorkhas, we carry a knife called the khukuri into battle. It's a blade, but it's got 12 to 14 inches. So I asked my buddy, my batman, I said, Balbahadur, where is my khukuri? So he said, it is here, Saab. I said, cut this off. So he said to me in Nepali, Saab, I can't do that. Why don't you wait for the doctor? I said, the doctor has taken over half an hour. Give it to me, and I cut off my leg. And I told the Percha, go and now bury it. So I always laughingly say, now I own land in Bangladesh, 1 foot by 1 foot by my 1 foot.
No, it was in a very simple way. You just said it, but it was a hard decision, though. I know you wanted to get rid of it and move on and fight back, but at that moment, you wanted to stop the gangrene. Yes.
Yeah. See, people also tell me, the enormity of this action, but actually, I fought 3 wars, and in the 1965 war, my company, I was commanding Alpha Company of the 4th Battalion, the 5th Gorkha Rifles, Frontier Force. And myself and another officer, we were only 2 majors, the rest were all very young officers. So my company got involved again and again and again, and my company was practically written off. I lost my second-in-command, I lost my platoon commander, I lost my best NCOs. And I saw my very good friends, people who I had trained with over years, dying in front of me. Some of their heads were blown off, some of their guts had come out, their arms wrenched off. So after having seen that, I thought I was pretty fortunate to only lose a leg. So, see, unfortunately, the pictures painted on TV and in films don't really communicate the reality of war.
True.
War is not. No soldier really wants war. Soldiers only want peace because that's what we are there for, to ensure that peace is maintained, to ensure the security of our country. And that can only happen if we are trained, if we have the right equipment, if we have the right morale, and we have the right attitude. And that is what the Indian Army is all about.
Yes, and also the training helps you.
That's right, Jaya. We firstly, right from the days in the academy, there was a platoon commander who told us, his name was Desmond Hind, and he was an Anglo-Indian, and he said to us, battles are won or lost in the mind before they are won or lost on the ground. And therefore, it is your attitude which is important. It is your will to win which is important. And therefore, training is very important. We train again and again throughout the year for that one couple of days or couple of weeks when we go to war. But all the training of all the years is motivated and is focused on that one time when we will have to fight the enemy. And one has to understand that there are no runners-up in battle. Either you win or you lose. And therefore, there's no question of coming second best. We have to win, and we have to fight to win. And for that, morale is very important. And morale is very, very important. And that is why we in the Indian Army, we are focused on what we do because of one word. And that word is love. Love may not be a very military word, but it is on the altar of love that men and women in uniform put their lives in the line of fire and sometimes disappear in the smoke and fire of battle. But why do we do that? We do that for the love of our country, for the love of our people, for love of our soldiers, for love of our regiments, for love of the ethos and the values and the cause for which we are fighting for. So that is what motivates us to fight. And that is why we won this tremendous war in 1971, a 14-day war in which we liberated a country and a new country was given birth, Bangladesh.
So as you earlier mentioned that it is not as a canvas that is painted about a war or not about an imaginary scene that is created in a movie. Very rightly said, because we as civilians, we only can vision a war through those images.
Yes.
And in reality, it is only the soldier and the soldier's family who goes through that war situation, the war field and the battlefield times and again whenever they have to face that situation. So under those conditions, as a soldier, when at a young age of 30 years, when you were asked to go to the battlefield, what was the first reaction from your family? What was your first reaction? Of course, as a soldier, we take pride in getting a call. We wait for that call for us to move into the battlefield.
Yeah, Jaya, before the 1965 war, I just got engaged to my wife, Priscilla. And what I want to say is that the Indian women are the backbone of the morale of the Indian Armed Forces. Without them, we cannot do what we do. They support us in every way. When I had to go into the 65 war, just after getting engaged to her, engaged meaning Mamini, and she said, don't worry about me, just do your best, be a good soldier, and I hope you come back in one piece. But don't think about me, just do your best as a soldier. That's what every wife and mother tells their sons or their husbands. And that is what allows us to focus on the task in hand. And that is the main task, is to defeat the enemy. Victory in war. So, but coming back to what you said about the reality of war, what the listeners should understand is that the privilege of leading men into battle is given to very few. And it is on the young shoulders of the young officers that lead the soldiers into battle. And the soldier, the Indian soldier, who is the best in the world, he follows his young officers because the officer leads from the front. He doesn't say, "Tum aage jao, main aa raha hu." He says, "Mere piche move, follow me." And he's there right in front. And when the Jawans see their officers right in front, facing the brunt of the enemy fire, they are also motivated and uplifted to do what their young officer tells them to do. The Indian soldier undergoes great tribulations, makes great sacrifices, because he knows that his officer is setting a personal example. The casualty percentage of officers is the highest because he leads from the front. In 1971 war, my battalion, the 4th Battalion, the 5th Gorkha Rifles Frontier Force, we started the war with 18 officers. And after a war of 14 days, only 7 survived. 4 got killed and 7 got wounded. So this is what is the key point of leadership in the Indian Army, and that is we lead from the front. That is what makes all the difference between one army and another.
Yes, sir. And on the field, like now we know the technology is very much there on the fingertips for everyone. But in those days, we hardly had anything for you to communicate to your officers. How was the communication that you were receiving from your officers?
Yeah, no, Jaya, we did have radio communication, particularly it started actually in World War One, and it carried on in World War Two also. It started and it continued in World War Two and continued in all the wars that we have fought since independence.
Okay.
So we have radio sets, and the communication is there through the radio sets, right down from the top. And the main functioning formation in war is a division, infantry division. And each infantry division has approximately 3 brigades. And each brigade has approximately 3 battalions. And each battalion has approximately 4 rifle companies and 2 subordinate atom companies. Now, all communication is through the radio. And sometimes, as it happened in the 1965 war, when my signaler, the person who was carrying the radio set got destroyed. So then I had to send him down to pass the message that we were in trouble and we needed reinforcements. So you're right, in those days communication was not as good as it is today, but communications were available and we were able to do what we had to do.
The ham radios kind of thing.
Ham radios, I suppose so, you can call it that. That's what people will understand. But there are big sets in static formations, and the smaller sets we carry on our backs.
Okay.
And so it is not difficult to remain in communication. In between, before the radio set came into being, we used to communicate through helio lights at night and the daytime with flags. And each flag had a series of codes through which we could communicate from hilltop to hilltop as to what was happening.
Oh, okay. So had to learn those codings also through the colors and flags.
Yeah.
Wow. And yes, I just wanted to make it a little lighter. Therefore, I deviated into the radio topic. But coming back to the battlefield situation, when the soldiers were seriously wounded and it was a very intense war for 14 days, what was as the war cry goes, Ayo Gorkhali, and so when you all moved together into the battlefield, what was the response from the other side, sir? Can you just give us a vision of how a scene of how it started off from your side and from the enemy side?
Yes, Jaya, my battalion, I'll tell you about my own particular experience of my own battalion. the 4th Battalion, 5th Gorkhas. We fought 3 battles in 1971 in the short period of 14 days. The first battle was the Battle of Atgram, where my battalion had to capture a feature which was occupied by nearly the equal strength of the enemy. Now, this was in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is an area which is waterlogged. And they had taken up a defense on a hill, isolated hill, which had only one approach which was dry, and the rest of it was all marshy with 2 to 3 feet of water. So they expected us to attack them, if we attacked at all, would be across the dry ground. But we decided, my commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Arun Harolikar, a very, very brave and courageous officer who got a Mahavir Chakra at the end of the war, he decided that we will take the enemy by surprise, we will launch a night attack, we will attack with our grenades and khukuris, we will take them by surprise, and we will jump on top of the bunkers and throw grenades into the loopholes and then saaf karo with our khukuris. And that is exactly what happened. The enemy were taken totally by surprise. We attacked them from the rear, and before they knew what had happened, we shouted our battle cry, Ayo Gorkhali, and before they knew what had happened, we were on top of their bunkers, and we used our khukuris with abandon. It is actually today, in retrospect, it is the last khukuri attack in modern military history. And that night, in the moonlight, that night, approximately 30 heads rolled that night. And those who survived ran back and told their colleagues, don't mess with the Gorkhas because you're likely to lose your head. So that is the battle we won at Atgram. We, unfortunately, 2 of our young officers who were overcome with excitement did not follow the CO's orders, and they went straight into the bunkers and they got killed. So we lost 2 very fine young officers and a JCO. That was all the casualties that we had. And then came the second battle. Now, in the second battle at a place called Ghazipur, another battalion had attacked and was not successful. So the corps commander, who was from the Gorkhas, said, send in 4 or 5. They will capture the feature. Now, it was in a tea garden, and they had their defenses were very, very strong. They had concrete bunkers, they had barbed wire, they had mines, they had everything. But here too, just because of the fact that firstly that we knew what we were doing, the Gorkha soldiers are very, very brave. General Sam Manekshaw has been known to say that if anybody says he is not afraid, he's either a liar or he's a Gorkha.
Or is a Gorkha, true.
Yes, and so we captured this feature, but in that battle, it was the opposition was so tough that we lost our second in command. We lost, and 4 officers got badly wounded. So by now, after these 2 battles, we had lost 3 officers killed and 4 officers wounded, 7 down. Only 11 officers survived. And now the corps commander, he's one of the finest commanders, most competent field commanders in war of the Indian Army. His name was General Sagat Singh. General Sagat got information that Sylhet, which is one of the key areas of defense of the Pakistanis, that it was vacated, that the brigade which had occupied that area had gone for the defense of Dhaka. And he said, I want Sylhet to be occupied fast before the enemy can reinforce it with something else. And by this time, since we had had so many casualties, my battalion commander had asked permission from the brigade commander for time to reorganize because so many men had been killed, so many officers had been killed. And he had to reorganize the companies. And he was given permission to go and reorganize and re-equip and be ready for the next battle. And we were given 4 days to reorganize. But the corps commander said nothing doing. I want Sylhet occupied immediately. I know the Gorkhas, they are the best suited for this task. Send them immediately. And we undertook what is a heliborne operation. India's Indian Army's first heliborne operation.
Hmm.
Now, in Staff College, we are taught that in a heliborne or a para-drop attack, there has to be coordination and planning for at least about 4 to 5 days or maybe a week between the Indian Army and the Air Force. But here in battle, it is quite different. We were told at 7:30 in the morning that you are going in for a heliborne attack to capture Sylhet airfield. At 9:30, a chopper will come from the commanding house of a recce, and at 2:30, the battalion will be flown in. So that was it. And when we landed in Sylhet, and he told us, he said that there's nothing there. There's just about 200 or 300 razakar, that is the irregular soldiers.
Okay.
But when we landed, all hell broke loose. They were using artillery, they were using medium machine guns, they were using mortars, they were using rifles, they were using everything at us. And he said, this can't be 200 or 300 irregular soldiers. This is a formation. The brigade hasn't moved. So we thought that the brigade had not moved, and we were only half a battalion because that was all that the helicopters could lift. But we fought them. So I'd like to take a little. I'd like to inform the listeners that what also saved us was the British Broadcasting Corporation, the BBC. At that time, there were only 3 broadcasting stations that were broadcasting news about the war. There was the Pakistan radio, which nobody believed in, the Pakistanis didn't believe. There was All India Radio, which was normally 24 hours late because they had to get clearance from Army headquarters. But the Indian Army did a great thing. They allowed foreign correspondents to march along with our troops. They marched with our troops, they slept alongside, they ate with our troops, and they were broadcasting the war as it was happening in front of them. And they made a mistake because they were not with us. We had gone in helicopters. So they made a mistake and said, a brigade of Gorkhas has landed at Sylhet, whereas we were only half a battalion. We knew that the Pakistanis were listening. We were listening. So we decided, let us pretend to be a brigade. So we pushed out our defenses in such a manner that it appeared that we were a brigade. But there was a great risk in that because now there were big gaps between the companies. But the CO, Colonel Harulekar, took the risk and it paid off. Finally, when on the 15th of December, a huge number of Pakistanis came waving white flags. And we were taken by surprise, and the CO said, don't allow them to come close. Fire a machine gun burst and tell them to stop where they are. So they were stopped where they were, and they said, no, we want to surrender. The CO said, we have got no orders to accept your surrender. Go back and we'll continue the fight. Then they said something which made us a little astonished. They said, can we speak to the brigade commander? Then we realized that we had managed to bluff them that we were. So the CO said, the brigade commander has said you come back tomorrow at the same time. So the next day they came at the same time, but we meanwhile communicated to our brigade commander, for God's sake, come and take the surrender tomorrow at the same time. So he came in a chopper. So when the Pakistanis saw a chopper landing, the brigade commander went to meet them. And they said to the brigade commander, Salam alaikum. He said, Walaikum salam. And he said, Janab, this helicopter mein kaun aaya hai? Usne bola, I have come in this helicopter. They said, you have come in this helicopter? Aren't you here? So he said, no, I'm 100 miles away. Then they said, then what is here? He said, it is only a battalion, and that too half a battalion. There was a great astonishment amongst those who were listening, and there was a great murmuring amongst them that they had been fighting just half a battalion, and we held them for 9 days and 9 nights.
Wow.
We had no food, we had no water, we had no blankets, but it was just as I told you right in the beginning, battles are won or lost in the minds of men before they are won or lost on the ground. And then we got the shock of our lives. We didn't realize it was not one brigade that we were fighting. We were fighting the equivalent of 3 brigades. 3 brigadiers, 2 full colonels, 173 officers, 290 GSUs, and 8,000 troops surrendered to us.
Wow.
We were just 532 by that time.
So why is it, I might be wrong, please correct me if it is so, why is it that the Pak army always intrudes in civilian costumes and they never reveal that they are army initially?
This has been the pattern of their strategy. In 1947-48, they came with tribesmen from the northeast mountainous frontier, and they said, no, this is not the Pakistani army. But finally, when we fought them and we killed and we captured army officers and army JSOs and army jawans, then they finally had to admit to the world and to the UN and etc. that it was they who had launched an attack against Kashmir. In the 1965 war, they did the same thing. They sent 30,000 Razakars, that is guerrillas across. But they were led by Pakistani officers, Pakistani JCOs, Pakistani NCOs. We fought them, we captured them, and some of those JCOs belonged to the old Indian army. Now they were in Pakistan. And they told us, yes, not only have we got Indian army, Pakistani officers and JCOs and NCOs, but President Ayub addressed us 2 months ago in Murray. So they always try to bluff and say that it is uprising, it is civilians. They just, but the world comes to know exactly what they're up to finally.
True. That's being sneaky and cheating.
But that's what they're like.
That's what what is their strategy, I guess. Even in 1999 with the Kargil war also, they started off like that. Yeah.
And they said the sad part is when we told them we've captured your soldiers and take their bodies back, they refused to accept their own soldiers by saying that no, our soldiers are not here.
They disowned them. Yeah.
They disowned them. How sad.
That's very sad. So we'll take a short break here. I have a song for our listeners and for you. This is called a Gorkha song, Gorkha regiment song. I'm not sure if I have chosen the right one. Please forgive me if it's a wrong one. But here it is. And then we'll open the lines for our listeners. If you would like to call us and talk to Sir, we are talking to Major General Ian Cardozo, sir. And you may call upon, from US, you may call on 703-879-6611, UK 020-3287-8674, Australia 02-8006-8674. From Bharat, you may call upon 966-77-8674. And from anywhere else, you may call upon Skype. Our Skype ID is tori.live1, tori.live1. If you're not able to call any of these numbers or Skype us, you may also Gmail to torilive@gmail.com, TORILIVE@gmail.com. And you may find my Facebook page, RJ Jaya, wherein today's banner is there. You may comment below under the banner and we'll get back to you. So here's a small song. Stay tuned and we'll talk to you soon.
తెలుగువారి ఆత్మీయ వారధి.
Welcome back to Jai Hind. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, this is lovely. Nice song. It epitomizes the Gorkha soldier, simple men from the hills. They only know the truth. They are great trackers, they are great hunters. They cannot understand shouting, they cannot understand abuse, but they are very fair-minded, and if they do something wrong, they accept their punishment like a man. They are wonderful, wonderful troops to serve with.
Truly, truly amazing. It's good to know the meaning of the song probably that you were trying to tell us.
Yes.
Thank
So-
you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
And about yourself, after the 1971 war, there would have been a great change in your life pattern and your lifestyle, and yet you managed to walk through the mountains, through the ice, through the snow. What hard efforts, what was your determination, what was your, how to say,
Yeah,
your
I'll-
strength, what was your strength that made you do this?
I'll explain, Jaya. It was probably some amount of anger,
Mm.
because when we were in. Firstly, I was telling you that when we go into battle, we don't think about ourselves, we don't think about our families.
Yes.
But after I got wounded in the chain of evacuation, I was at one place there was no transport, and I was for a couple of days sitting under a tree, and then I began thinking about my family, about my children who were very small, about my future, what would happen to us.
Mm.
And subsequently, when we reached the Artificial Limb Center, we were told that, see, now that you are wounded, you can't come back to your troops, you can't come back to command troops. You will now, if you leave the army, we will give you many concessions, but if you stay, you can only be a staff officer. That hurt us, and I was angry, and I said, I have not joined the army to do a staff job. I've joined the army to be with my troops, to command them, and there's nothing wrong with me having lost a leg. I'm as good as anybody else, and I have to prove it. So it was that anger and that desire to prove to people that I was as good as anybody else that made me accept the challenge. And it took me 7 years to convince Army headquarters that people like me, who had lost a leg in war, some of them had lost 2 legs, were as good, if not better than people with 2 legs. And we managed to prove that. And the greatness about the Indian Army is that after I had marched 40 kilometers, 150 kilometers, climbed mountains, they realized that, yes, what he's saying, there's something in what he says. And Army headquarters changed their policy. And today, battle casualties can reach right up to the top, to the chief, provided they prove. And what the chief wrote on my file is, when I was given command of a battalion, he said, yes, give him a battalion and other war disabled officers who are not taking shelter of their wounds, which means that we had to prove that we are as good as anybody else. So this is what motivated me, the desire to prove that we were as good as anybody else. And not only me, I mean, I reached Major General's rank, but there have been officers who have become army commanders, that is one rank below the chief. And one of them, Vijay Oberoi, became the vice chief. General Sharma became an army commander. And General Joshi also was an army commander. So, well, I was the guinea pig, which I was the trailblazer. I opened up the promotion policy. And I'm glad that this happened, because when Sam Manekshaw said, if you don't look to the career of officers who are battle casualties, who will look after their careers, who will fight in the next war? Who will stick out his neck in the next war? And therefore, war widows need to know that they will be looked after, and battle casualties should know that their careers will be protected. This is what the Indian Army is all about.
Truly. Because there are many who, as your officer had said, taking shelter of their wounds and saying, there's nothing for me ahead. So this proves that anybody, be it an army or even as an ordinary person, they can fight it out and prove to the world that they can do it, even though they have any physical challenges. And you have been an exemplary idol for them. Many of them do mention your names when they have to face these challenges. And you have been the first officer, as you said, to open up the gates for people to say that, yes, they can follow up their dream line, serving the nation. And
That's right.
To our youngsters who are aspiring to be in the civil services, who are aspiring to be in the armed forces, who are aspiring to be basically serving our country in any of these professions, your suggestion for them, your guidance for them, as of today's situation, sir?
I would like to tell them what General Sam Manekshaw told me on the 15th of January 1964. Although I had got my award of my Sena Medal in 1960, I was in very difficult mountainous areas and I couldn't come for a couple of years. I came down in 1964 and I met him there. And we are from the same regiment. And he said to me, son, you have started well. Then I said, sir, any words of advice? And the words of advice he gave me, which I have tried to follow all my life, I would like to pass on to the young people who are listening to this program. And the first thing he said is, do what you love. Whether you want to be an actor or an astronaut or an engineer or a businessman or a soldier or a sailor or an airman, do what you love. You may be a 90%er and you could choose to be an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor, but if you want to join the army, that's where you should be. Whatever the profession that you choose, make sure that you do what you love. Because if you can combine your hobby or what you love with what you do, then you have the best chances of being happy. And then he said, after you're doing what you love what you do. When he said that, it means that when you love what you do, you will be the best in that particular profession. You must be better than anybody else. Nobody should know anything about your profession better than you. And there also you will have a chance to be happy. And then he said, the third thing he said is, never be afraid. He said, in doing what you love and loving what you do, there may be a lot of challenges, there may be a lot of problems, but face them and fight them. To never be afraid. And lastly, he said, never give up. So these are the four things. I'll repeat them. Do what you love what you do, never be afraid, and never give up.
And I would like to repeat for myself too, sir. Do what you love what you do, never be afraid, and never give up.
Right.
I think, yes, each one of us should make them as a daily prayer, and I guess it works wonders for each one of us. And today we are truly honored. As I mentioned to you, sir, in 2013, with the help of Google Mata, we have a friend, sir. We'll quickly talk to them. Hello. Hello. Yeah, hi. Welcome to Jai Hind.
హలో
హలో నమస్కారం అండి, జై హింద్ కి స్వాగతం.
నమస్తే అండి.
మీరు ఎక్కడి నుంచి మాట్లాడుతున్నారు?
నా పేరు దిలీప్ కుమార్ అండి. నేను కర్నూలు డిస్ట్రిక్ట్ నుంచి మాట్లాడుతున్నా.
మీరు ప్రోగ్రామ్ వింటున్నారా?
లేదండి, వినట్లేదు, రావట్లేదు ఆన్లైన్ లో.
అవునా, ఆన్లైన్ రావట్లేదా? ఇది జై హింద్ మన జవాన్లతోటి కార్యక్రమం అన్నమాట. ఓకేనా, మన కార్యక్రమం కూడా అయిపోవచ్చింది. వింటూ ఉండండి, చెప్తాను. ఓకే. So he is calling from Karnal district.
What did he say?
He was trying to call into a program and he is not able to hear it live, so he called up to check which program is coming.
Oh.
No wonder. Okay, so it was in 2013 that with the help of Google, I managed to get information about your services and your brave act, and then I narrated about you, and after that it has been a dream to bring you on to Jai Hind, and finally in 2020 fortunately I could manage to hear your voice. Thank you
I'm so
much.
happy. Yeah, I've enjoyed the program too, Jaya. Good talking to you. Thank you for taking
We
us.
have another phone online, sir.
We're also so happy
Hello.
listening on your side. Hello. Akka namaskaram akka. Nenu Premni.
Oh yeah, Prem, please go ahead. Tell sir where you're calling from and talk to him.
Yeah, present I'm in India. India ku వచ్చాను అక్క present వచ్చేసి
ఎక్కడి నుంచి మీరు ఇండియాకి వెళ్ళారు?
కోవిడ్ నుంచి అక్క.
Okay. So this is Prem from Kuwait who is on a holiday in India now. Yeah, Prem, talk to sir.
Happy to listening your voice, sir. First of all, good evening.
Good evening.
Where you staying? I did not listen this show because of I have some work in our garden.
Oh,
Sorry
okay.
for that first one.
That's all right.
So I'm so happy to talk with you.
I'm happy to talk
first
to
one
you.
I respect to you.
Thank you so much.
I gratefully thank you to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
too. Thank you for saying that. God bless you.
Yeah, first of all, happy Republic Day, sir.
Happy. Thank you. Same to you.
Yeah, not only you, who is the sacrifice in our country because of like you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah, we want to happy Republic Day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
కొంచెం అంటే తడబడుతుంది మాట ఇంత మాట్లాడాలి అంటే.
పర్లేదమ్మా. యా చెప్పండి. మీరు చెప్పింది మళ్ళీ ఆయనకి చెప్తాను.
మొత్తం మీద ఆయనకు నా తరపు నుంచి కృతజ్ఞతలు చెప్పండి. అలాగే ఎవరైతే మన దేశం గురించి వాళ్ళ జీవితాలని వాళ్ళ ఫ్యామిలీస్ ని అందరినీ కూడా సాక్రిఫైస్ చేసి మన కోసం మన ప్రజల కోసం మన భారతదేశం కోసం వాళ్ళ జీవితాన్ని అంకితం చేసి మరి వాళ్ళ వృత్తిని నిర్వర్తిస్తున్నారు. మన దేశాన్ని కాపాడడం కోసం వాళ్ళ వృత్తిని నిర్వహిస్తున్నారు. వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా నా తరపు నుంచి హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు.
అలాగే చెప్తాను సార్, చెప్తాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ప్రేమ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Thank you, Prem. Thank you.
Prem was trying to say that he is highly indebted to all the soldiers who have sacrificed so much for us, and their families also who have sacrificed so much in protecting us and saving us. And he is highly grateful to your services and to you and to all the brothers and sisters who are serving our nation.
Oh, how nice of him to say that.
So, thank you so much, sir, for taking time to join us today, and very kindly you agreed to tell us about the war, and we are looking forward to listening to for your book. Looking forward to reading your book.
Thank you.
And I have no words. I don't know. I'm lost now.
Okay, Jaya, I've written 6 books so far.
Yes, sir.
But they are mostly non-fiction. Historical, the battles that we've fought, the medals that we have won, etc., etc. And now I'm moving on to short stories of fiction based on fact.
Okay.
And I've also started writing poems about war, because this is an area that nobody writes poems about war, so I thought I might as well start.
True. Truly, I'm overjoyed, and hence I have lost my words. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here, and it's a privilege and honor for us to talk to the first NDA Cadet to receive both the President's Gold and Silver Medal, and to the first Indian Army officer to receive the Sena Medal, and the first disabled officer to command a battalion and brigade, who had been honored with Ati Vishisht Seva Medal, AVSM, and Sena Medal. And recently, as an alumnus of St. Xavier's School, Fort Mumbai, batch 1953.
How do
Sir
you-
was awarded
Thank
as Xavier Ratna 2020 to the eminent
thank you.
luminary of Indian Armed Forces.
Oh,
Very
thank
proud
you.
of you, sir. Very proud of you.
Thank you, Jaya. Thank you so much. God
And I
bless
must
you.
thank ma'am for helping me to bring up this program. Thank you so much, Priscilla ma'am. And
Thank
we
you.
should definitely get back to you both together on Jai Hind for another episode. Thank
Okay,
you so
wonderful.
much. Thanks to all our listeners. And sir, we'll now conclude our program with our national anthem. Please stay with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaya. God bless you. I enjoyed this program.
जनगण अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
వింటున్న ఆత్మీయులందరికీ కూడా హృదయపూర్వక ధన్యవాదాలు. మెనీ థ్యాంక్స్ టు ఆల్ అవర్ లిసనర్స్ అండ్ we thank Major General Ian Cardozo sir for joining us this evening. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you,
And-
Jaya. I enjoyed it myself.
and hope you enjoyed being on air on Tori Live. Thank you so much, sir.
I
Have a
did,
good
I
day,
did.
sir.
Thank you so much, Jaya. God bless
Thank
you and
you,
take
sir.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Jai Hind.
Bye. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
చాలా చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు మహేష్ కూడా. And a special thanks goes to Ma'am Priscilla who helped us to get this program done. Thank you so much, ma'am. And also our good friend Manish for helping us getting connected. Thank you, Manish. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Priscilla.
Should we disconnect now?
Yep.
వచ్చే వారం జై హింద్ కార్యక్రమంలో మళ్ళీ మనం కలుద్దాం. అంతవరకు మీ అందరూ ఆనందంగా, ఉత్సాహంగా, ఉల్లాసంగా ఉండాలని కోరుకుంటూ సెలవు తీసుకుంటోంది మీ జయ. నమస్కారం. జై హింద్.